Now, the rumor is former Deputy Treasury Secretary, Mr. Michael Faulkender. When I see him, I'm going to believe it. There he is, my great pal and great patriot. All right, Mike, I'll read you the Caroline Leavitt just to stop. The Democratic shutdown has made it difficult for economists, investors, and policymakers and the Federal Reserve to get the numbers. Now, I think this is the money line, Michael. The Democrats may have permanently damaged the federal statistical system, with October CPI and job reports likely never being released, and all of the economic data released will be permanently impaired, leaving our policymakers flying blind at a critical period. She's truth-telling. She's getting this from the economic people and the Federal Reserve. She's truth-telling, and that's one of the casualties of this pointless Schumer shutdown. My question to you, Mike, as an expert in this area, what happens here? Do we lose 1 or 2 points of GDP in Q4? And in terms of the data sheets, can that be repaired, in your judgment?
Yeah, so we are going to see a reduction in GDP because we know that the longer that this went on, the more that people had to cut back. It was one thing when people only missed a couple of days worth of that first paycheck because of the way that the pay period fell. But then we missed the full paycheck at the end of October, and people started going into real reductions in activity, and that's going to have permanent effects. In terms of the data, it's going to depend on the series, right? So if you think about jobs data, we can make that up when we get more reliable data from unemployment insurance payments, right? So because the ultimate reliable source of jobs data is when individual employers pay unemployment insurance premiums to their states, and that's what then goes into the revisions of the jobs data. Now, when it comes to CPI, look, if people aren't out there on behalf of the Bureau of Labor Statistics looking at what things cost in the month of October because they were furloughed, there's no way to go back in time and replicate that data. So there will be gaps for this time period. People will have to extrapolate between September and ultimately good data that we get in December.
So just to square this, I mean, I don't know the complete answers either, but the Labor Department, it's like revisions. I'm thinking, Mike, in a couple of months, we won't get the October numbers soon. I got that. Or the prices, CPI, I got that. So let's say the next month, January, the next month, February, by then you'll know what happened. I know you're looking backwards, but you can at least fill that in to some extent with a lag. I guess that's what I'm suggesting.
Yes, especially the jobs data, because the ultimate good data on jobs is not a survey of a small percentage of employers. It's to actually look at payroll tax withholdings and, more importantly, unemployment insurance payments by the employers. That was not affected because that's at the state level. That data comes in with a lag, but it will ultimately be there. So we'll ultimately have good jobs data. It's the price data on CPI that will get missed, and we can extrapolate, but we're not going to have had the good data for it.
I give Caroline Leavitt a lot of credit. Just put it out there. That other crowd that was in office before would have lied their way through it. You know that. I know. Caroline put it out there. She's heard it from the economic people, policymakers. Who knows? Scott Bessent, Kevin Hassett. She put it out there. I give her a lot of credit. Now, Mike Faulkender, in turn, your outlook, so some awfully good things are happening. I mean, Scott Bessent's been talking about huge refunds next year for working folks. Already, inflation has come down, wages have gone up. All right, Kevin Hassett's out there saying the first 9 months we've recouped $1,200 of paychecks, working class, take-home pay. Biden lost $3,300. So we haven't recouped all of it, but we've recouped about a third of it. So that's good. You got your refunds coming up next year. The stock market's telling us profits are strong and business is strong. So I'm just saying, whatever the Democrats thought they were doing to destroy the boom or the record market, I don't think they succeeded. I think the outlook's pretty good. What's Faulkender think?
I agree with you entirely, because if you think about the economic plan that the administration implemented about coming into office, as you and I discussed years ago, energy prices permeate the entire
Right,
economy.
there
And
you
so
go,
the work
right.
that's being done doesn't just bring down the cost of transportation, it brings down the cost of production, it brings down the cost of operating a business because it shows up in electricity prices, it brings down the cost of agriculture because one of the biggest costs is fertilizer, which comes from natural gas.
Yep.
So that piece all by itself is going to be enormously
You and I were
beneficial.
talking about
Then
that
you look-
years ago. You're the one who used the phrase,
Absolutely.
energy permeates the whole economy. You're right. And I'd read off a list from the Energy Department, hundreds of things, including my glasses and probably my clothing. Mike Faulkender, I got to jump. I'm up against it, but I appreciate it very much, buddy. We will talk soon.
Great.